Welcome back to the channel Coin Dealer. Today, we dive deep into one of the most intriguing mysteries in modern numismatics, the unbelievable story of a 2015 D1 penny from the United States, a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet surrounded by rumors, claims, and even speculative evaluation suggesting it could be worth as much as $219 million due to a combination of minting anomalies, rare errors, and incredibly improbable conditions that make it one of the most fascinating cases in coin collecting history. So buckle up as we explore what makes this seemingly ordinary penny a subject of obsession for collectors, experts, and curious minds alike. First off, the 2015 D penny refers to a 1-cent coin struck in the Denver Mint, and while billions of such pennies were minted that year, making them one of the most common coins in circulation, the story of this particular coin stems from the fact that in the vast sea of mass production, sometimes errors occur. Some so subtle and others so dramatic that they turn an otherwise valueless coin into a jaw-dropping artifact of incalculable worth. Imagine a scenario where a coin escapes the rigid quality control mechanisms of the US Mint, featuring a die clash, a double die obverse, a misaligned die strike, or even an off-center minting, and then compound those errors with a rare planchette issue or a transitional metal composition mistake where the coin is accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank. Suddenly, you have a coin that breaks every expectation of its intended value. In the case of this alleged $219 million penny, collectors believe that its worth stems from a combination of high-impact anomalies. There's speculation that the coin might have been struck on a foreign planchette or even on a leftover blank from a previous series of coins, making its metal composition significantly different from the standard copper-plated zinc used in modern pennies. Others argue that the coin may feature a dramatic off-center strike combined with a double die error, resulting in distorted imagery such as Abraham Lincoln's portrait appearing ghosted or duplicated, or the date appearing shifted or doubled, adding layers of visual intrigue to its surface. More intriguingly, there are discussions about the mint mark itself, the small D stamped beneath the year, which might have been struck using a misaligned punch or on the wrong die altogether, possibly creating a phantom or floating mint mark, a rare anomaly that has been documented in other coins and can sometimes drive values to the hundreds of thousands. The Denver Mint, while one of the most consistent in terms of quality control, has seen its share of infamous errors, and some of those have gone undetected until they entered public circulation and were later discovered by sharp-eyed collectors or coin roll hunters meticulously examining penny after penny. The lore of the 2015 D penny's incredible valuation also includes the possibility that it was never meant to be released to the public at all, possibly a trial piece, a mule coin, one struck with mismatched dies from different coins, or even an internal test strike accidentally released during a production shift. Mule coins are especially rare and valuable, often causing immense excitement in the numismatic community due to their sheer improbability, as they represent a crossing of intended coin designs that should never occur. Add to that the possibility that this particular penny was preserved in near-perfect condition, perhaps even graded at a perfect MS-70 by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, and you begin to understand why, despite the widespread skepticism, collectors believe such a coin could theoretically command such an astronomical price. It's also important to recognize that while many might scoff at the idea of a penny being worth over $200 million, the numismatic market has seen stranger things happen. In rare coin auctions, unique specimens with strong provenance, significant historical value, or unmatched rarity have broken records again and again, with bidders from around the globe competing for a chance to own a piece of monetary history. Whether it's the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, history has shown that coins once deemed unremarkable can command sums that boggle the imagination when circumstances align just right. The myth surrounding the $219 million 2015 D penny is fueled not only by its alleged physical anomalies but also by its digital folklore, a symbol of hidden value in plain sight, the dream of every coin roll hunter, garage sale browser, or casual collector to stumble upon a fortune concealed within spare change. Online forums and YouTube channels have further fueled speculation, with some collectors posting alleged images or videos of error pennies that bear some resemblance to the mythical coin, though no verifiable evidence has yet confirmed the existence of a single specimen valued at or sold for such a staggering amount. Nevertheless, the idea persists, almost like a modern-day legend in the coin world, whispering to collectors to keep looking, to keep searching, because maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there is a penny worth hundreds of millions. And let's not forget the impact of virality in today's world. Once a coin, object, or artifact captures the public imagination and becomes a viral sensation, its perceived value can skyrocket overnight, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where desire and rarity feed into each other endlessly. The psychology behind such perceived worth is rooted in our fascination with hidden treasure, the idea that something as humble as a copper penny could hold secrets unknown to the average person and provide life-changing fortune to whoever recognizes its true value. Numismatists are also quick to point out that while the most sensationalized version of this coin's worth may be extreme, error coins from 2015 AD have certainly been documented and are indeed worth significantly more than their face value, especially if they contain well-known types of mint errors like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, brocages, and wrong planchet errors. Even minor errors can raise a coin's value into the hundreds or thousands, depending on condition and visibility. So the possibility of an ultra-rare 2015 AD penny with multiple, extreme, and visible errors, especially if combined with an uncirculated, pristine condition and backed by expert grading, starts to become at least theoretically plausible within the ecosystem of high-value numismatics. While most 2015 AD pennies will only ever be worth a cent or maybe a few dollars to the right collector, the legend of this particular penny endures because it represents a confluence of rarity, mystery, and possibility, a perfect storm of minting mishap and collector desire. It's a story that draws people into the world of coin collecting, that makes them peer a little more closely at their pocket change, and that keeps the dream alive that maybe, just maybe, there's a once-in-a-lifetime discovery waiting in your loose coins. Whether the $219 million valuation ever proves to be real or simply a captivating urban legend within the numismatic community, one thing is for certain: the 2015 AD penny has secured its place in the imagination of collectors around the world, not just as currency, but as a symbol of how error, luck, rarity, and curiosity can turn the most mundane object into a historical enigma worth investigating and pursuing, and it continues to inspire a whole new generation of hobbyists, dreamers, and treasure seekers who dare to believe that sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight. Today, you're about to discover the fascinating, jaw-dropping story behind one of the rarest, most mysterious, and astronomically valuable coins in the numismatic world, the 1983 1-cent penny from the United States of America, a coin so unassuming in appearance yet one specimen of which has been reportedly valued as high as $79 million, far exceeding its mere face value of 1 cent. A copper-plated zinc coin that, at a glance, looks no different from the billions of other pennies struck in the early 1980s, but as you'll soon learn, this tiny piece of metal hides within its design, material, and minting anomalies a complex tale of minting errors, metallurgical quirks, and striking inconsistencies that elevate it to legendary status among collectors, historians, and investors alike. So stick around as we dive deep into the details, peeling back the layers of history, rarity, and the unexpected forces that have turned an everyday pocket coin into an object of obsession and fortune. Because it all begins in a turbulent era for the US Mint, particularly in 1982 and 1983, when America was transitioning from the heavier copper pennies that had been standard for decades to a newer, lighter, zinc-based cent with a thin copper plating, a change driven by economic factors and the rising cost of copper. And this shift introduced not only metallurgical challenges but also left behind a trail of confusion, mixed compositions, and experimental runs that sowed the seeds for some of the most remarkable mint errors in modern numismatic history, and among these, the 1983 Lincoln cent emerged with a set of characteristics so rare, so improbable, that even seasoned experts at first found it hard to believe. Specifically, we're talking about a coin that was supposed to be made of zinc with a copper coating but instead was accidentally struck on a solid bronze or copper planchet left over from the 1982 transition or possibly retrieved from a stockpile meant for destruction or repurposing, and this alone would make the coin exceptionally rare because by 1983, all pennies were officially to be zinc-based, making the presence of any leftover copper planchets an extraordinary anomaly, and when one such planchet was used in the coining process in Philadelphia, where no mint mark appears on the coin, it produced a 1983 cent with the weight, density, and acoustics of the pre-1982 copper cents, and it didn't stop there because further complicating and enhancing the value of this rare cent is the possibility of a double die reverse, another error that occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been misaligned during the hubbing process, causing the design elements on the back of the coin, such as the lettering, Lincoln Memorial columns, or other details, to appear doubled, offset, or shadowed. A feature sought after by era coin enthusiasts and one that significantly multiplies the coin's desirability and monetary value. And what's more, some of these 1983 cents struck on copper planchets not only carry these compositional and striking errors but may also exhibit unusual die cracks, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or clipped planchets, all of which are further indicators of a flawed minting process and increase their worth exponentially, especially in a market where demand for unique mint errors has been on the rise, with auction houses and private collectors willing to pay exorbitant sums for verified anomalies. And while it's easy to assume that such a coin is a one-off miracle, the fact that a few 1983 copper cents have been authenticated and graded by leading organizations such as PCGS and NGC proves that these coins are not mythical. They exist, they have been weighed, tested, X-rayed, and subjected to metallurgical analysis, all confirming their non-zinc composition and authentic US mint origins. And the mystery only deepens when you consider how such a planchette ended up in the minting presses in the first place, possibly due to human error, equipment oversight, or a transitional mistake during the changeover years. And because Philadelphia minted cents in 1983 lacked a mint mark, it adds to the difficulty in tracing the exact origins of the coin and enhances its intrigue, inviting theories ranging from accidental oversight to intentional sabotage or experimentation within the mint. And unlike more modern collectible coins designed to be rare, this cent was never meant to be anything special, which is what makes its existence all the more incredible, a literal accidental treasure whose survival defies logic, and its journey from unnoticed mistake to multi-million-dollar artifact reflects the unpredictable nature of coin collecting, where even the smallest deviation from mint specifications can yield astronomical rewards if the right conditions align. And because only a handful of these rare copper 1983 cents have surfaced in the decades since, their scarcity has become legendary, turning up occasionally in estate sales, old piggy banks, inherited coin jars, or forgotten rolls of pennies in the back of a desk drawer. And every time one appears and is confirmed genuine, the buzz among collectors reignites, feeding into a frenzy of speculation about how many more might still be out there waiting to be discovered, perhaps by someone with no idea that a seemingly worthless penny is, in fact, worth millions. And when that realization hits, when a coin is tested, weighed, and found to be significantly heavier than its zinc counterparts, it triggers a wave of excitement as the finder uncovers the full scope of what they have, leading to grading submissions, media attention, and, in rare cases, million-dollar offers, as was reportedly the case with a pristine 1983 copper penny that not only matched the weight and composition of earlier copper cents but also displayed a near-perfect strike and uncirculated condition, elevating its value through the roof. And while not all 1983-era pennies will fetch tens of millions, the one believed to be worth $79 million stands apart due to its combination of rarity, condition, error type, provenance, and the lore that surrounds it, especially when supported by expert verification and market interest from high-end collectors who are willing to pay astronomical sums for the prestige and uniqueness of owning one of the rarest post-1960 coins in American history. And what makes it even more interesting is that the US Mint has never officially confirmed how or why these errors occurred, allowing room for continued speculation and mystery, which only adds to their allure in the eyes of collectors and investors. And while some dismiss the $79 million valuation as exaggerated or speculative, others point to the precedent set by similar rare coins, such as the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, both of which have commanded prices in the tens of millions due to their historical significance and extreme rarity. So in that context, a 1983 copper penny, if verified to be unique in its specific error combination and provenance, could conceivably reach that kind of valuation in a private sale, especially if fueled by competitive bidding or high-profile media attention. And as with all things rare and valuable, provenance, documentation, and condition are crucial, meaning that a certified, well-preserved 1983 copper cent with confirmed minting anomalies, verified by multiple reputable grading bodies and accompanied by a well-documented history, could indeed become one of the most valuable coins ever sold. So if you ever come across a 1983 penny, don't dismiss it, check the weight, look for doubling, inspect the strike, and consider having it evaluated by professionals, because you might just be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. And who knows, maybe the next $79 million penny is sitting unnoticed in a forgotten coin jar or resting quietly in your change cup, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a little bit of luck to bring it into the spotlight and change their life forever. We're going to explore one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in modern coin collecting history, a tiny piece of copper that might just be hiding in your spare change and yet is worth a jaw-dropping $37 million. Yes, we're talking about the 1991 cent penny from the United States Mint that, despite bearing a face value of just 1 cent, has stunned collectors, historians, and numismatics experts across the world due to its series of bizarre errors, minting anomalies, and highly improbable occurrences during production, which have come together to transform an otherwise unremarkable penny into one of the rarest, most valuable and most discussed modern coins in existence. And in this incredibly detailed exploration, we're going to uncover all the reasons why this humble coin carries such an astronomical price tag, from the specific technical mistakes in the minting process that led to its creation, to the surprising details of its mint mark or the absence thereof, the rare misalignments, planchette errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and other fascinating minting irregularities that have essentially elevated this little copper-colored disc into an elite category of numismatic legend that is feverishly hunted by collectors, analyzed by coin experts, and revered as a once-in-a-generation anomaly. And what's even more intriguing is the fact that such coins often slip past the eyes of quality control teams at the mint and wind up in circulation, meaning there is a real-world possibility, albeit extremely rare, that someone somewhere might unknowingly have one of these million-dollar marvels sitting inside a jar of spare change, a forgotten drawer, or tucked away in a collection of old coins inherited from a relative. And in the case of the 1990 penny, one of the most significant and valuable errors known is the 1990 no-S proof Lincoln cent, which was supposed to carry an S mint mark indicating it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, yet somehow, due to an unexplained oversight or lapse in protocol, a small number of these proof coins were struck without the S mark, making them incredibly rare because the proof coins are usually made with meticulous precision and undergo intense scrutiny for perfection, meaning that when such an error occurs in the controlled and high-standard environment of proof minting, it signifies not just a simple slip-up but an exceptional anomaly in minting history. And what makes this no-S proof penny even more valuable is the extreme scarcity of its numbers. Experts estimate that fewer than 200 of these coins exist, and many of those have likely been tucked away into private collections or remain undiscovered, which only adds to the sense of mystery and urgency around the coin's legend. But the no-S error isn't the only contributing factor to the penny's astronomical value, as other rare forms of 1990 Lincoln cents have surfaced with various types of minting mistakes, including dramatic off-center strikes where part of the design is missing or misaligned, double dies where the inscriptions and details appear duplicated due to a die striking the coin twice in slightly different positions, clipped planchets where a piece of the coin's metal blank is missing due to being improperly cut before striking, and even coins struck on the wrong metal stock, meaning instead of being minted on a copper-plated zinc planchette which was the standard composition of Lincoln cents from 1982 onward, some rare versions of the 1990 penny might have been accidentally struck on bronze planchets left over from earlier minting years, or on dime planchets, which results in coins of the wrong weight, color, and metallic composition, adding yet another layer of numismatic fascination and value to the specimen. And as if that weren't enough, some 1990 pennies exhibit curious variations in their mint marks even among those that do display a mint mark, such as misplaced mint marks which appear off-center or unusually shaped due to the hand-punching methods used prior to digital consistency in minting, and in rare cases, even repunched mint marks where a second impression of the mint mark appears slightly offset from the first, all of which serve as indicators to collectors that the coin is not only rare but belongs to a very specific subcategory of errors that are increasingly sought after by those willing to pay tens of thousands, or in this special case, millions of dollars for a coin that defies conventional expectations. And what makes this even more astounding is that the 1990 Lincoln cent was otherwise a routine issue produced in the billions, with over 6.8 billion pennies struck that year across multiple mints including Philadelphia, which traditionally had no mint mark, Denver, indicated by a D, and San Francisco, indicated by an S, especially for proofs. So the odds of finding a coin with this level of precision error and rarity is like finding a needle in a haystack, or even rarer. But because human error is an inevitable part of any large-scale operation, such anomalies do occasionally slip through, and when they do, and are later authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, they become instant headlines in the coin world, often drawing fierce competition among collectors at auctions, with values skyrocketing depending on the coin's condition, certification, provenance, and even the story behind how it was discovered. And what's crucial for enthusiasts and casual collectors alike is understanding how to identify these coins correctly, because spotting a $1 million penny requires more than just good luck. It demands careful observation, knowledge of die markers, a magnifying glass, and in most cases, expert authentication. And while stories of individuals who unknowingly owned one of these ultra-rare coins and later sold it for a fortune have inspired treasure hunts across the country, the 1990 NOS penny remains one of the most legendary and iconic era coins of the modern minting era, encapsulating all the unpredictability, intrigue, and hidden value that can exist within everyday objects we often take for granted. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist with years of collecting under your belt or just someone curious about the mysteries lurking in your spare change, the story of the 1990 penny serves as a thrilling reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures come in the smallest, most unsuspecting forms, and as more collectors and enthusiasts take to examining their coins more closely, perhaps with a jeweller's loupe or digital microscope, one can only imagine the excitement and disbelief of that magical moment when someone turns over an ordinary penny and finds themselves staring at a historical, multimillion-dollar mistake, one that represents not just monetary value but a unique chapter in minting history where an accidental oversight created something truly priceless. And that's why the 1990 penny, with its errors, variations, and freak occurrences, continues to captivate the attention of collectors worldwide and will likely remain one of the most talked about coins for generations to come. So thanks for watching this deep dive into one of the greatest modern coin mysteries, and make sure to check your change, because you never know, you just might be holding a $37 million piece of American history.